I'm back to do some blind taste testing of branded lagers and how does 96 different ones sound. I've been to all the shops in my neck of the woods, which is South London, and picked up every branded lager that I could find. That excludes the low and no alcohol lagers, super strength, gluten-free, and dark lagers. So just the standard style pale lagers that you would expect to find with a decent-ish ABV on them. What I found could be probably broken up into 4 different categories. So the first category is your mainstream lagers. So these are the ones that everyone knows and you'll find everywhere. So you've got your Heineken, your Bud, your Peroni, your Carling. Then you've got tier 2. Tier 2 is more beers that you know, so the branded names like Holsten and Kingfisher, but you might not find them everywhere. And also the ones that are sort of the other variants. So you've got Carlsberg Export and then Peroni Capri as well. Then tier 3 ones would be your imports. So the import ones are more, you'll find them in world food stores and other type of stores, but you've got your Golda, you've got your Efes, and you've got Lucky Beer. So lots of different ones there. And lastly, crafty ones. So the crafty ones, as you would expect, we've got ones from And Union, and then we've got Lost and Grounded with a few as well. So I have here 96 different branded lagers. I think the important word there is branded. I don't have any of the Aldi or Lidl copycat lagers or the own branded watered down Tesco pish. But what am I going to do with all of these? Well, as the title gives away, I'm going to do a Lager World Cup knockout between these. How it's going to work is across 5 rounds. The first round is the group stage. The lagers will be divided randomly into groups of 6, where I will blind taste test them, and I will put my 2 favourite from each group through to the next round. The next phase is the knockout stage. Beers will be separated into groups of 4, where there will be 2 first place and 2 second place beers from the group stage. Again, they'll be blind taste tested, and 2 from each group will go through to the next round. The same will happen in the round after with beers in groups of 4 until we reach the semi-final, where we have 4 beers on each side. 4 beers from the semis will make it through to the final, where I will then crown my overall Lager World Cup champion. So without further ado, let's bring on round 1. Welcome to round 1, Group A. As you can see, I've got a new blind taste testing set up here. The beers have been given a random number allocated across all of them. So all 96 beers have been allocated a random number, and then they've been ordered by that number and split into their respective groups. These are the first 6 in Group A. As always, the missus has a blind poured these for me, so I don't know what these beers are. She's just off camera. Let's get this started then. Straight on to Beer A. Beer A, the colour wise, it's I would say we're looking at pale to golden in colour. Good carbonation coming off. These are nucleated base glasses, as always, on my blind taste testing, and it looks to have good carbonation. The head is kept well on it, on the nose. It's not a good start. There's some sweet malt in the nose. That's all the nose is imparting. That's a bit of a shame, hoping for a good start, but I say all blinded, so I can't choose the order this goes in. Let's have a taste. I'm going to say straight away, it has a very light body, almost no carbonation coming through at all. into the mouth. So low carbonation, even though you can see it's pulling up carbonation from the nucleated base, it's low carbonation in the mouth. Light body, or low body overall, not much of a body, and a very metal malt taste. But when I say metal, I don't mean it's tasting metallic like a tin. It's just a flavour that I would probably say it's a Euro lager. This is something that is probably made here in the UK, but pretends to be made in Europe somewhere. It doesn't taste like a UK-based lager. It tastes like a Euro lager. On to B, we've got a similar colour, similar level of carbonation coming up from the nucleated base. And again, it's not got sweetness on the nose this time though, but it has a slightly malty nose, but it is overall lacking in a distinct nose. Okay, let's go for a taste. Low to medium carbonation on that. It's a very, very soft body that comes over, so not much in the body. And it's very drying afterwards on the tongue. So it's got quite a lot of dry qualities on that. So that's probably, but it's very clean as well. Now, clean is a difficult word to use, but that is very clean. You can say that about many lagers. They're clean. Doesn't mean they're enjoyable. You go back to again. It just means easy to drink. Sometimes that's what you're looking for. That's a clean lager. Low carbonation, but slightly low in taste. On to C. C is slightly lighter than the first two. Again, carbonation looks decent. The head is retained quite well. That is more malty on the nose. That's definitely just giving off a malt nose. It's light with a malt nose. That's all I can say at the moment. All right, let's go in for a taste of it. No, you can probably tell from my reaction there. That is, I was expecting better from that. The nose was actually quite malty. There was, again, barely any carbonation rolling over the tongue. The body was non-existent on it, and the flavour was actually an off note for me. It felt like a bit wet cardboard. No. It has to begin with, it's clean, nothing there, and then it has an aftertaste on the back of the tongue for me. That is, wow, this is this is a great start. A, B, and C. I hope the rest aren't that bad, because I've got to put 2 through at this stage, and the formula is already looking bad. Just to explain on the little cuts while they're happening, I am actually in between. Cleanse my palate. I am drinking carbonated water. I feel that just does a better job than just plain old water, with the carbonation rolling over the tongue, and gives me a fresh palate for the next beer. Not that I think I've needed for the first 3. On to D. Please restore my hope in this project I'm setting out. I have 93 more beers ahead of me. Well, 93 more lagers ahead of me. Please, please give me something good. We are looking at it's coming towards the golden. I'm going to say that. It's going to be straw to golden on that. Well, straw to golden, pale to golden, sorry. Good head, keeping on it. Nose. Okay, we're looking at similar to C. We've got a malty nose. Yep, a very malty nose. That's a good sign for me to begin with. Let's get it for a taste. All of these seem to be quite low in carbonation. And I'm just trying to think. I mean, they can't all be like cans or all bottles. They've got to be, I mean, no matter like they could be. It's quite low in carbonation, but it actually has what I would classify as, low to medium body. It's not as thin as the rest. It actually has a bit of body there. Yeah, there's a bit of body to it. And the aftertaste is malt. I would say out of these so far, that is hitting the note of what I perhaps would be expecting. It's a malt finish, and that's what I'm expecting for some of these. Not all of these, but that is already better than the first three, I would say. On to E. E is a very similar color to D. So we're looking at pale to sort of golden. Low carbonation rolling up the edge of the glass there. Very small head at the moment, but it's took longer to get to it. Oh, nose-wise, it is malts, but it's different. Okay, this could be... I should be guessing. I've proven in my previous ones where I try and guess that I'm not good at guessing. But that, to me, smells like it's come from the import category. Yeah. Let's get in for a taste. Taste-wise, it does have malt, but it's also got a slight grain element to it as well. So it doesn't feel like it's 100% malt base. I know this is going to sound weird. I'm going to assume that this could be, I said, in the imports, and it could be maybe one of the African beers that I've got, like Golder or one of those. What's the other one? I've got a Star. I'm not going to try and guess what these beers are. That's not what this is about. It's all about tasting and choosing my favorites and describing to you what I'm getting out of them. But what I'm getting is there's a slight, I'm not going to put it as an off note, but there's a slight note that's different than what you would be expecting. And I can't put my finger on what it is. It's whether they're using a certain hop or whether they're using something besides malt in there as well. It's changing it. But at the moment, it's okay for me. It's just got a slight off note for me towards the end. And we come on to F, in a first group that doesn't seem to be going well. This doesn't bode well for the whole project for me. I feel a bit lackluster after having 5 of these. Surely I'm going to get something good. Right, let's go to the final one on here. This is quite pale in color. I would say it's similar to C. Carbonation slowly rising up. Nose is very malty. Yeah, quite a big malt on that. Taste-wise, it's done the same as C. It's almost as if they've somehow got a malty nose and just made all the malts disappear from the taste. There is no carbonation, a very thin body, and it just leaves a slight dryness at the end, which isn't major. They're tiny dryness at the end. Yeah, but it's quite thin, not much to it. Oh dear. This is, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting groups where I would perhaps be struggling to choose my favorite, but group A already, the first group, and I'm struggling to find 2 that I want to put through, but I have to put 2 through. So I'm going to take a moment off camera, run through these again, and then come back and tell you my 2 that I'm putting through. Liam in the editing suite here, just a point to make. I didn't include the run through. I'd done that off camera. and it feels like it's perhaps a missed opportunity because there are quite a few times it seems that I've changed my opinion when running through the taste again, and that's not been captured, unfortunately. So if you get some weird results coming afterwards that don't quite match entirely what I've said before, it's because going through the taste test and comparing them all side by side again, I've changed my mind. Well, I've gone through and retasted all of them, and yeah, I think I've made my mind up, but it is not. It's a very close group, but not on the good side of a close group. It's close because they're all quite the samey and bad. I think I'm going to put through in second place. I mean, it's between A and B. Give me a sec. Retaste. I'm going to put through A. I'm putting through A just because it does have a slight sweetness to it that actually distinguishes it from B, which is, I say it's clean, but this actually has a bit of something to it at least. So yeah, A is in second place, and in first place, it probably was the best out of all of these. But I mean, what am I saying? Probably the best. It was the best out of all of these, but that doesn't put it as a high marker of how much better it was. But I'm going for E. E for me was, yeah, the best. That's going as my number one for Group A. And I have 90 more of these to go. Oh dear. What have I let myself in for? Okay. Things can only go up from here, can't they? Round one, Group B. Starting with beer A over here. So we have a light golden colour. Small head on it. Ooh, it has a metally note to it. And by metally, I mean it's not quite skunked, but it's metally. And I'm thinking already before I'm tasting it, Euro lager, but let's get in and have a taste. Very clean. A ending malt note base, not massive, just a small malt note base at the end. It's not. Yeah, it's not massively overwhelming. Nose is not the best with it. Taste-wise, it's very sessionable, I'd say. Very easy to drink. Euro lager, I would list that as. On to B. It's had a bit more of an active head. Again, that's pushing more towards a light sort of straw to gold colour. But also I'm seeing a bit of, I don't think there's a chill haze, but I'm getting a slight haze on it. Not as much as this one here, but a slight haze on B. Okay, that nose is immediately a dry hop nose. Yeah. This, I'm going to say it's probably one of the craft ones. Let's get in and have a taste. A lot of carbonation on this one. It's very active in the mouth. There is a hop flavor coming through on it, which is more along the, it's slightly piney, I would say. Yeah, there's a slight, there's a hop to it and there's a slight pine note to it. You're not getting the malt base that you may get with other lagers, and a very big carbonation on it. Body-wise, it's a decent mouthfeel. but the carbonation does disrupt that slightly. C. Okay, we've gone back to a very clear beer. That is a very light golden color. Nose-wise, it smells, again, like we're looking like a Euro lager. It's got a maltiness to it. But again, much like A, it's got a slight Euro skunk nose to it. I'm hoping it doesn't come through in the flavour. If it's in a green bottle, that's where that nose can then also come through on the flavour, which not always keen on. Let's get and taste this. Oh, okay. I was expecting sweetness because the nose also gave a bit of sweetness off, but that was just very bland. There wasn't much to it at all. It was very thin, and the carbonation rolled over the tongue, and then not much body on it or flavour. No. That one has more with the nose than with the taste, and all I'm getting off it is a slight peachness, which isn't necessarily what I'd be wanting or expecting. But yeah, looking like that's potentially a Euro lager for me. D. This one is hazy as complete haze on it. You can't see through. There is carbonation rolling up inside. Let's get on the nose. I could smell the nose actually before I went in there. Okay, yeah, that's got a big fruity nose. There are probably quite a few hops going into this. Yeah, that has tropical notes. It has pine. It has grass. That is smelling very inviting, but not generally something you would assume as a lager. So it's going to be one of the crafty ones. Let's get a taste. Body-wise, quite thin. Carbonation, it's not too carbonated. I'd say it's a low to medium carbonation on that. Again, more on the nose than in the actual flavors coming through. But yeah, it does have that hop notes coming through. It's a slight bitterness on the finish as well, but not a massive hop bitterness. It's I could perhaps have that and confuse it with a pale ale of some sort, or even a not so hot IPA. On to E. E looks to be the darkest color out of all of these. It's definitely moving on to golden, that one. Its head has dropped like most of the rest on here. It looks to have good carbonation on the nose. Oh, okay. This is, yeah, this is feeling like a, oh, with the color as well. It's definitely more malty. We're looking at something that is maybe Germany or Poland. Yeah, it smells good. Very malt forward on the nose, good color on it as well. Let's get a taste and see what it's like. That has a really, really good taste. I like that. So immediately the malt is straight there. It has a medium body. I wouldn't say it's a really big body. It has a good amount of carbonation that helps roll over and bring the malt with it. But it also has a nice sweetness from, I'm guessing, from the hop flavor coming through. Yeah, there's a sweetness, well, probably malt sweetness, and then there's a slight hop to it, but nothing as much as any of the others that have been like hopped, like B and D here. That's a decent one. And then on to the final one in this group, which is F. This one is a looking pale straw color. definitely looking on the straw color. It's the clearest and lightest one on the group here. Ooh, the nose is, yeah, definitely giving off maybe a Euro lager to me. Again, yeah, it's got a bit of a Euro lager nose. Let's go in for a taste. Okay, big carbonation on this one. Very big carbonation. Quite a thin body, but the flavour was not what I was expecting for a Euro lager. That is, I can't think what that is. It's quite thin. Not much on the malt actually coming through on the final taste. Quite a bit of carbonation with it, and yeah, it's sort of lacking on the nose and in the taste, unfortunately. Maybe those that want a session, it could work for. I'm going to have a little retaste off camera now, and then I will come back and give my ratings and say which two I'm sending through. After having a quick retaste off camera of all of these, I've decided quite easily which two I'm putting through. And for me, in second place is Beer B. I'm putting that through in second place. It's not your typical lager, I agree. There's the hop to it, but it had a good body, and overall, I enjoyed the taste of it. And going through in first place for me is probably not that much of a surprise based on the tasting of it. It's E here. I think that is a good European lager, so not Euro lager, European lager, virgin on probably a Pilsner, or, I mean, it's not Vienna, it's too light, but it's darker with the malt color, but it has a really, really good malty taste. The color's there, the nose is there, and the taste is there with a good body. That is my number one for Group B.